Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. This past weekend, I was interacting with some of our high school students, our youth in Cleveland, and one of them was sharing with me how she feels constantly tired. And she was sharing this with some physicians, and they were sharing maybe it's because of this or because of that. And then I, though nobody asks for my opinion, give my opinion. And I had shared that purpose pulls performance. And I'm challenging your purpose in life right now, your purpose in being in school. And if that's not robust, you're going to feel tired. Now we're all listening and thinking, yeah, our youth are like this. Pujya Swami Tejomayananda has shared a most practical definition of samsara. We read this word a lot, we hear it a lot. Samsara is when you're constantly catching up. Now all of a sudden it applies to us too, correct? Constantly catching up with exercise, with cleaning, with socializing, with meaningful mornings, and so on. I further described to this youth and to all of us, I've been really promoting Prithvi Seva, even through sadhana, with eco, which is engage, chant, and observe. Everyone remembers that? So I was sharing that when you engage in a meaningless way, you drown fast. When you engage, but it's not meaningless. You're engaging, it's not meaningless, it's not meaningful, you drown slow. When you chant, that's like wading. You no longer drown. But the best, from engage meaninglessly to engage to chant, is to observe. That's when you start to rise from catching up, rise from being tired. Meaningful Mornings is an opportunity to learn how to observe. There's so many I interact with who are vulnerable, who are struggling with their mental health, etc. For them, for a sincere seeker, routine, discipline is critical. And Meaningful Mornings is such a lovely way to have a routine, to have discipline. In chapter 12, verse 3, Sri Krishna describes himself as infinity. I am unthinkable. Then how can I be infinity if I can't think about it? And I'm so habituated to thinking. In verse 4, Sri Krishna shares the prerequisites that are required to be able to feel Sri Krishna as infinity. And those are all relating to some. To be well, to be adept, specifically samhitaya. That you do not live for some, you live for all. That's how Sri Krishna lives. If you want to be with Sri Krishna, if you want to be Sri Krishna, for you to live the same way. Pujya Swami Vivekananda's master is Sri Ramakrishna. And Pujya Swami Vivekananda established the Ramakrishna mission. And the motto of the Ramakrishna mission is a mantra from the Rik Veda, which is so lovely. Atmana moksha artha. That's the first phase. The second phase is jagat hitaya. I'll explain in English. Atmana moksha artham. One's purpose is to be free. If that's checked off, then jagat hitaya, one can help, one can serve this multiverse. What a strategy. You first love yourself fully, then you can love others. Shri Krishna is sharing the same, but please remember, it is not that I have to love myself fully first, then I'm going to start loving people one by one. These can be done simultaneously. The more jagat hitaya you engage in, practicing loving others, the more atma moksha you feel too. The more free you feel. Verse 3 is Sri Krishna as infinity. Verse 4 is the means. Verse 5, Sri Krishna shares, this is difficult. And so in verse 6, he's sharing to rise to this difficulty is what your plan should be. And he gives words like, for those who live in me. Where did we see that? Chapter 11, correct? And if I'm living in Sri Krishna, then naturally I should live for Sri Krishna. That's chapter 12. Are you feeling that connection? For anyone who's aware of themselves, if you're living in a home in which you're not the owner, then you have a responsibility to that owner, correct? When we travel to people's homes and our children who are experts at making messes, then I have to be an expert in cleaning up. I don't own that home. I am living in that home, so I have to live for whose home it is. It's only natural. And so I'm asking all of you to think of, is God your ends or is God your means? And the best answer is both. The next best answer is God is the ends. I'm living inside of him. I should live for him. Be careful if you feel God is the means. You will live, but live in a neutral way. You won't drown fast, you won't drown slow, but you won't rise. Earlier I shared many people use God as the means and money as the end. They're ready to give God up, but not money. Adding more before we get to the next verse. Remember I asked all of the Chinmay Mission Cleveland committee members to rate their realized potential. And they shared, I shared. And then I shared with them, and I'm sharing with all of you. Organize. Organize your inside. That is what your purpose is. That God is the end. A natural expression of that is you own the outside. That means your means is directed to that end. For those who are organized, they own everything they do. They apply themselves, they chant, and so on. And all of this is so obvious. The last few words of chapter 12, verse 6, I'm reversing the order if you look at the last quarter. Upasana means to be with one's guide. What will one's guide do? Pass one on or navigate the map. What does the map teach us? Dhyana. To contemplate, to change your eye. And that map really will lift us to Mam. to feel that you belong to Sri Krishna, to feel you are Sri Krishna. Upasana to dhyana to ma. Verse 7. Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam. Shri Krishna shares, Tesham, for those who are feeling that they live in me, and so they're living for me, all that they do has that prefix sam. Sam niyamya, sam buddhaya, sam hitaya. Since they are practicing this sam, I become their sam. What sam? Samudharta. I am the one who lifts them from samsara, from this ocean. If they follow the means, I will be their ends. Here Shri Krishna is offering his guarantee. For those who are less bhakti-oriented, in chapter 14, Shri Krishna will teach, for those who are sattvic, in the next verse he'll share, then this momentum will carry them to be udasina, which means they will rise above sattva, or this limitation. You do your part. Undoubtedly, Shri Krishna will do his part. Specifically, mrityu, which means death. Samsara means repeat. Death repeated. Samsara is like a whirlpool. If this is point A on a whirlpool, it keeps coming back, correct? And sagarat means an ocean. Tell me how many liters are in the ocean? You can't quantify the ocean. That is a terrifying thought. Death repeated in an unquantifiable way. You cannot save yourself from this. Only the one who's above this can save me and you. So we have to lift ourselves up. The other day, when Shuka and Vyasa and Sheila were leaving for school, then Shuka had somehow mentioned that he doesn't want to die. And I shared, you're not going to. And I closed the door and I said, yet. Because I can't tell him the not truth. He is going to die, like all of us are going to die. But the critical point is, how are you going to die? Are you going to die again? Or you're going to die once and for all? Third quarter, Bhavami, this is who I am, Partha, to you, to all of us, when na chirat. I love this phrase, which means in no time. In your English book, it says year long. Who uses the word or year long? In no time. And the lovely implication of this is, Sri Krishna's relationship with us is not transactional. I give you this time, so you give me this time. It's not transactional. For those who listen to Troubled Mind by Dan Mangan, if you go through that YouTube playlist, another lovely song by his is, have a little faith in me. Have a little faith in me. This is what Sri Krishna is trying to share to Prince Arjuna and us. Have a little faith in me. I am beyond time, so how can our relationship be time-based? And finally, Maya veshita chetasam. This will be the truth Chetasa mind, aveshita, directed, submerged, immersed, mayi, in me. Those who surrender to me will be lifted by me. The way that Bhagwan Hanumana fell at Bhagwan Rama's feet, then what did Bhagwan Rama do? He didn't just lift him, he submerged him, immersed him, became one with him. And this is so epic because this becomes the trigger for a really famous week of verses that we are now going to get to experience. Can you believe this is not quantified in that? This is not even the best verse that's coming. From inspiration to application. Your application really from January of 2022 is to be an environmental activist. I had shared with you a couple of weekends ago in Flint, my whole weekend was based on Hinduism equals environmentalism. It is not your choice to be an environmentalist, it is your nitya karma, your regular responsibility. So being part of dedicating to Devi, not optional. Donating to Plant One for One, as well as planting trees in your city, not optional. So much effort is going into this. I want you to keep April 20th to the 23rd free. Each evening, I will personally be facilitating a workshop on guiding nature. How nature guides us. And since we're living in nature, we have to live for nature. All of that is all over social media. If you feel this is your nitya karma, you won't think, I didn't know. Your application for this morning is an intense application. I want you to rate how ready are you to die? How ready are you to die? 1 is you're not ready at all. Your only relationship with mrityu is fear. 100 is you are ready to die. Your relationship with death is kripa. You're gracefully going to die. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.